Welcome to the next section, which is building your project. I know we've been waiting a long time for this, so it's time to start creating data models and writing things to do DBT stuff. The first and most important thing we need to talk about is SQL and Jinja. And these are going to be the two main ways that DBT will compile your code to run it. And the thing to remember here is that DBT at the root is just compiling a bunch of things and then sending it to your database server, so Snowflake in this example, to run. SQL, obviously, we're familiar with it. It's structured query language. It's the select statements. And Jinja is a templating language. It allows you to do really dynamic things with your code. You can write sets, you can write for loops, if else statements. And when you combine this with SQL, you can do a lot of really cool things. And that's what DBT has figured out here. So let's go over this. Let's go over an example. What we're looking at here is a very simple DBT looking SQL statement. You can see it's under models. Remember, we touched on models. This is the name of one model, and we'll talk about what that means a little bit. It's a SQL file, but ultimately it has a combination of things. So we can see we have parts of a normal looking select statement. So select order ID. We can see there's a sum case when statement, sum from group by. So that is normal familiar SQL. But then we have this set and we have this stuff in brackets here. Essentially, anytime you see stuff with brackets, pretty safe that it's Jinja happening. So in this case, what they're trying to do is they're saying, we know we need to write this same case statement for every single payment method that we have. And traditionally, you would write that out 3 times, but imagine if you had it, 10 or 15, and you're just copying and pasting. And what DBT is promoting is simplifying that to not rewrite things if you don't have to. It's kind of a theme you'll see with the way this is built, and think about it with the viewpoint modularity, designing things to be easy long term. This is kind of an example of that. So what this is saying is if we've created this set, it's creating a for loop saying for payment method in payment method. So for each instance within here, so all 3 of these, create this statement, but in place of this here, drop each payment method. And then name the column also as payment method, and then its amount at the end. And DBT, when we run it, will compile it that way. So you build it this way, but when it compiles and gets sent off, it's going to look like this. So we can see it takes each case one statement, it substitutes the individual set value, and then also uses that same value to name it. And you're able to do all these really dynamic things. And this is just a very simple example of that. Typically, it's something that as you come across something that you want to do, you look up how to do it, and there's usually good documentation on it. But that's all I wanted to cover for this section. So in the next section, we're going to take a look at the 2 main ways that you can refer to data in DBT, and that's through sources and through models, which we've talked about a few times already. So we'll see you at that one.